Boeing's senior management calendar is filling up with problems. I don't think any of the press coverage I've seen so far has collected all of the problems together in one place, so let's give it a go. A little over 2 years ago, Boeing entered into a deferred prosecution agreement with the Department of Justice regarding the 737 MAX crashes. Boeing was charged with fraud and conspiracy in the way Boeing dealt with the FAA in getting the 737 MAX certified. A charge of fraud and conspiracy alleges that Boeing knowingly lied and that the lies were concocted by more than one person within Boeing. Remarkably, nobody went to prison for this. This attests to the power of Boeing's lobbyists. Boeing agreed to pay a headline number of $2.5 billion, but $1.75 billion of that sum was already agreed to with Boeing's customers to compensate them for the grounding of the 737 MAX airliners. The rest of the money was split between the government in the form of a fine and the families of the crash victims. The families of the crash victims were deeply dissatisfied with this deal. They contend it was improper for the government to negotiate a settlement on their behalf based on the federal law giving victims a say in such agreements. That deferred prosecution agreement was due to terminate just 2 days after the Alaska Airlines door blowout incident. Now the DOJ is considering whether Boeing's behavior leading up to that incident constitutes a violation of the deferred prosecution agreement. On top of that, the FAA has given Boeing 90 days to present an acceptable plan to fix safety processes and culture within Boeing. Amidst all this, Boeing is in talks with Spirit AeroSystems to reacquire its spun-off Wichita factory that produces 737 fuselages. I've commented previously that the creation of Spirit AeroSystems was a financial and labor relations engineering project with no benefits in improving safety or product performance. Boeing and the Machinists Union are scheduled to start contract negotiations on March 8th of 2024. Initially, these were to start in early February, but were delayed. I doubt any party that Boeing is negotiating with or being investigated by are receptive to further delays at this point. The lesson in all this is to focus on your product, especially if your product is as complex as our aerospace industry products. Isn't that difficult enough without senior management trying to be clever about labor relations, keeping the FAA in the dark about important systems to avoid pilot training requirements, or lobbying so that senators and congressmen will intervene on your behalf with the Justice Department and moving factories and headquarters around to insulate management from what their employees would be telling them? And it turns out they're not even very good at that.